Thanks everybody for being here. Yeah, it's great to be here at the Sugar Bowl. My first time here, and it's been very apparent to me, why this is one of the elite bowls in the country. Everything has been first class. The city of New Orleans has been phenomenal to us. We've had really good work in our practices. I'm really excited to play a great opponent, a great defense, and it should be a great night on Monday night. So go ahead with questions.
James Hale, Sports Talk 1400, The Ref. Lincoln, as a coordinator, you've been a guy you'd like to play tomorrow, even if you just played the day before. So now you've had all this time off. Talk about trying to keep everybody sharp and fresh and ready to go as you've tried to handle this month of inactivity or not playing a real game.
It's always a balance. It's something that I think you've got to have your core principles on how you want to handle the time, how you want to balance it between resting your primary guys, working in the beginning your younger guys, and then starting to get your older guys back up to speed. And I think the key is, for each team is trying to find that time where we can have them peak exactly at the right time. I know we felt offensively a little bit last year after that game when we went back and revisited everything like we do, that maybe we peaked a little bit early. So we've made a few adjustments to not necessarily how we prepare, but maybe kind of the timeline. And so I think our guys have responded to it well. We've done a good job of continuing to get a lot of good work, which keeps the practices up. And so hopefully we've done a good job, and we'll peak on Monday night.
Eric Bailey with the Tulsa World. Lincoln, can you talk a little bit about just quarterback play on Monday night against Auburn's defense?
Well, we're pretty confident in the guy we have. It'll obviously be a huge key. It is every week for us, and especially against a group like this that's going to test you. They're going to test us in every facet of our game. They've done a great job of stopping the run. They're really athletic in the secondary, and they rush the passer, as good as anybody in the country. So, those three things tell you why they've done what they've done defensively. So, we'll be tested. Baker will be tested, but if there's any guy that'll be ready for it, he's the one. So he's practiced very well. He's had a great run here at the end of the season. I think he's been able to, maintain, if not get better, through these last several weeks. And looking forward to him playing that way here in a few days.
Towards the front right here.
Myron Patton, Fox 25, Oklahoma City. Staying sharp. When you got this much time, do you have a tendency to kind of sharpen what you already do, or do you want to add some things to kind of pique the interest of your players and kind of get them going? How do you handle that?
Probably the fair answer is a little bit of both. There's definitely, you're always tempted to do some new things in this, but not do too much, because we've done pretty well so far, and we don't want to get too far away from what's helped us. I think the new things always pique their interest a little bit, and that's something that we do weekly anyways. And so we've tried to, like I said, almost approach the first part of it like a spring practice or like a fall camp, where we're just working to get better at fundamentals, developing guys, bringing along some of the guys that were banged up throughout the year. And then as we've gotten closer, we've tried to keep it as much like a game week as possible so that they can get in that mode. We're in that mode installation-wise, and again, just trying to get them to peak at the right time.
Back here.
John Shin, Norman Transcript. When you got on campus, Baker was already there, but it seems like you two have bonded about as much as a college coordinator and a quarterback have. Did you sense that would be the case early when you got there?
I didn't see any reason why we couldn't, but at the same time, we, as most of you guys know in here, we had a pretty heated quarterback battle going on at the same time. And so it wasn't like, I was overly close with him over any of the other guys. I think as time has went on, as he's become the starter, and then we've gone through just the normal things that a coach and his player go through, the mostly ups, a couple of downs, but just all the twists and turns over the last 2 years, those things bring you closer. They make the trust level between us a lot higher. There's more conversations, there's more experiences together, and so I think that naturally has just kind of taken its course. And, you know, I would say that's probably where our relationship has grown more throughout the last 2 seasons as opposed to, you know, when I just first got there.
Will Guillory with NOLA.com. What do you think about what Didi and Baker have been able to accomplish as a duo this year, and what have they done to develop such a great chemistry?
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. You know, as a coach, you try not to, especially with one more left, you try not to look back at that stuff too much. I think those will be things that, you know, look back on later on and appreciate. But it's, you know, it's hard to ignore. You have to have 2 guys. You know, you're sitting there in New York at the Heisman ceremony, and there's only 5 guys up there in the entire country, and 2 of them are from our team is a special moment, no question. And then obviously Didi being able to win Oklahoma's first Biletnikoff was a great moment as well. And yeah, and probably the things, like I said, that I enjoy the most is seeing the way that those guys have worked, the work that they've put in behind the scenes. You know, those things don't just happen. They're 2 talented guys, but there's a lot of talented guys out there. They've worked hard. They've both benefited from being surrounded by a lot of other great teammates and really good players. And, you know, and then they've had a great level of consistency throughout this entire year that's been fun to watch and fun to coach.
Chris Dabe with NOLA.com. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Auburn's defensive front, particularly Carl Lawson, Montrevious Adams, and what they do well against the run and pass rush.
How long do you have? Yeah, they're really good. I'd say the thing that stands out to me is, again, you've got, you know, a lot of these teams maybe where you play a good D-line, there's maybe like 1 great player and a bunch of other solid players. I mean, they've got, you know, 2 or 3 great players up front. And the thing that makes them tough to me is, you know, if you've got 1 guy maybe that's only great at rushing the passer, all right, maybe you can do some things against that, or maybe 1 guy that's only great at stopping the run, you know, you can maybe scheme some things around them or try to get help in certain plays or certain situations where these guys, you know, they're really good at both. And so that makes it a lot tougher to scheme and game plan for, makes it a lot tougher to play against. And they're surrounded by other really good players on that D-line as well. So, I mean, they play hard. They're really, really good at what they do. They're both very versatile players. You know, both of them are guys that, you know, in my opinion, will play for a while on the next level. So, you know, we've played some good D linemen here in the last few years, but they stack up really well with any of them.
Cornerback here.
Lincoln, Kerry Murdoch from Rivals.com. We talked about how young you guys are on the offensive line, but you come out of last year, a lot of questions about how physical, you know, this program was as a whole, but especially on the offensive line. Do you feel like you've proved, you know, that you are a more physical line, and how much of this could, you know, this test really put a cap on establishing yourselves heading into next season?
I always believe that, you know, proving it is a week-to-week deal. You know, we can have been all, you know, as physical as we want to be for 9 weeks in a row, but if we're not physical on Monday night, then it doesn't matter. So, you know, we're concentrating on trying to be very physical in this game. We know it's going to certainly be a key, as you mentioned. We're playing a very talented and very physical front, and you know, obviously our ability to run the football here, you know, over the last couple months of the season has been very, very important to what we're doing. It will be again, and then, you know, we've also got to be very physical in the pass protection with these guys, because it's not, these guys aren't just athletic guys that are going to run around you. They attack you, and you've got to attack them back or you have no chance. So we've definitely improved in that area. There's no question. Our whole line, you know, Bill Bedenbaugh coaching those guys, they've done a great job. They've improved all year. We're excited about them in this game, and honestly really excited about them going forward here in the future with all of them coming back. So they've been certainly one of the strengths of our team, and we will absolutely lean on them in this game.
Getting back here.
James Crepey with AL.com. You've been a very prolific passing offense this year, and obviously mainly through Didi. They've been very good defensively at keeping the top on the coverage and not having very many long plays. Can you just speak to the challenge in trying to accomplish what you've done all year against a defense that's been very proficient and not allowing deep passes?
Well, I think the key in that will be our balance. You know, we've always said that, and have always believed that, you know, defenses can only take so many things away, and you know, everybody's going to come in with a plan. you know, most of the time they're always good plans, but you've got to be able, you know, first to, you know, assess what are they giving you, what are they trying to take away, and then, you know, your guys have got to be good enough to whatever they are giving you to be able to execute that. And so, you know, we've been able to do that here the last several weeks of the season. We don't ever sit there and say that we've got to throw it deep or we've got to run it 50 times or we've got to throw it 50 times. I could care less about any of that. My main concern is, and our main concern is, whatever they present to us, whatever they give up, we've got to be able to take advantage of that. And if we can do that, then we'll be able to move the ball. And you know, Kevin Steele's as good as it gets. We'll see a lot of different looks, I'm sure. And, you know, we'll have to be able to do a lot of things well to play the way we want to play.
We have time for one more question from Coach Riley.
James Hale, Sports Talk 1400, The Ref in Norman. Lincoln, Coach Stoops and Joe addressed the media for the first time about the incident. I'm curious about practice. Joe's always been one of your better practice players, and yet the weight of the world was on him for a few days. Could you talk about how he handled that at practice and, you know, how practice went as all that was going on?
Yeah, you know, the first thing I would say on that is, you know, I was a sense of, I don't know if relief's the right word, but somewhere in that, you know, you guys, you know, everybody across the country finally got to see the guy that I've seen since the day I walked in the door at his press conference. And then, yeah, he was, you know, he was really down those first few days. There's no question about it. I mean, who wouldn't be? But his teammates were great about picking him up. And then, you know, I think there was a little sense of relief on his part of you know, finally being able to talk to you guys and to be able to express, you know, to the world how he really felt. And so I think he's been, you know, a little bit better up here. Again, I think his teammates deserve a ton of credit for picking him up, and he's, you know, he's excited to continue to work through it, and he's very excited about playing in this game. So yeah, it's been a difficult situation, and you know, we've all tried to handle it the absolute best we can, and Joe's done a great job of just like being who he is and being a great teammate, being more worried about all the other people as opposed to himself, which is kind of the norm for him.